Aloha mai kako, and welcome to our very special episode of Hawaiian Music Archives, e kuleana to our kupuna and our keiki. I am your co-host, Dr. Adam Jansen. It is my privilege and honor to serve as State Archivist and Administrator of the Public Archives. Joining me today is my fellow co-host, Jim Tranquada, historian and board member of the ʻUkulele Hall of Fame. And we have a very special set of guests, fresh off an incredibly exciting performance at the International Ukulele Festival of Hawaii this past July 20th. We have Professors Roberto Moniz and Roberto Moritz of the Conservatory of Music of Madeira and the Association Zarabanda. We also have my brother from another mother, Souza, who is an amazing kumuhula, educator of Hawaiian music at Iolani School, and an ukulele player with the award-winning band Valea. And then finally, we have my friend Sam Fong, director of Line Studio at Washington Middle School. Today's episode is going to focus on the Madeiran traditions that really influenced and shaped Hawaiian music and its instruments in the late 19th century. And I couldn't think of anybody better to help set that context than Jim. Not only is he a co-chair of our advisory council, but he is also an author of one of the authoritative books on the ukulele that he co-authored with John King, who was a 2025 inductee into the Ukulele Hall of Fame. So Jim, can you please help set the context for our viewers who may not understand the origins of the ukulele and why Madeira is so important in telling this story?
It's been almost 150 years since the ukulele's arrival in the islands. And people are still surprised today to learn that the ukulele is not a native Hawaiian instrument, but instead an introduction. People usually say from Portugal, but in fact it was from the island of Madeira. There were Portuguese in the islands. The first ones arrived during Kamehameha the first time, but they were from the Azores and Cape Verdes. The Madeirans arrived beginning in 1878 as part of plantation owners' continuing search for cheap plantation labor, and that's how the Chinese came to Hawaii, the Japanese, the Filipinos, the Puerto Ricans. They even went to Norway at one point to try to find cheap labor. That did not work out too well. So Madeira is very similar to Hawaii. Sugarcane used to be the major cash crop back in the before wine took over. Madeirans had already served as cheap plantation labor in what is now Guyana, British Guiana. So it seemed a logical source of plantation labor. So beginning the Royal Hawaiian government under King David Kalakaua negotiated with the Portuguese to start bringing people over. The first shipload of 123 Madeiran immigrants arrived on the Priscilla in 1878. The following year, 1879, August 1879, the Ravenscrag arrived with 423 immigrants, again from Madeira, the majority of them city dwellers from Funchal who had never worked in agriculture in their lives. The plantation owners were a little disappointed by that, I think it's fair to say. But the Ravenscrag also brought an instrument that the Madeirans knew as the machete, a diminutive four-stringed instrument that looked like a little guitar. They also brought with them the rojao, which was a larger five-stringed instrument. And as the story goes, João Fernandes, a 25-year-old plumber, who only had one small baby, which he could easily hand off to his wife, was so excited after this 4-month sea voyage from Madeira around Cape Horn to Hawaii that he grabbed another passenger's machete and started to sing and play, and that's why he has been referred to before as the first ukulele player in Hawaii. The remarkable thing from my perspective is that within less than a decade of the arrival of the Ravenscrag, the ukulele was the machete, which had been renamed the ukulele, had become regarded as the national instrument of Hawaii, not only by folks off island, mainland haoles, but by the Kanaka Maoli themselves and the ali'i, the royal family, because Kalakaua and Kaulani and the Kawanakoas all played the ukulele. Liliuokalani too, although she was more partial to the zither and the guitar. So that's why we're here today, really, is because of the critical role that these Madeiran immigrants played in introducing this instrument and the style of playing to Hawaii.
Now, there had already been stringed instruments in Hawaii prior to these instruments coming over with the Madeirans, correct?
Absolutely. And I believe that's one reason why the machete/ukulele took on or became popular so quickly, is because there was already a well-established guitar culture, again, led in or that involved the royal family because of the competing glee clubs that Liliuokalani and her siblings set up. And the earliest evidence of guitars in Honolulu is 1843 newspaper ad for a Honolulu merchant who was advertising strings, guitar strings. So by the time the Madeirans arrived, there was already a well-established and popular guitar culture in the island.
So what you're telling me is we really have to thank sibling rivalry for some of the popularity of these instruments.
Yeah, and the musicality of the Hawaiian people, because there's a never-ending debate about who introduced the guitar to Hawaii, and the Paniolos is perhaps the best known and most popular explanation. The Mexicano cowboys, vaqueros from California, who were brought in by the king to start riding herd on the wild cattle that had been introduced by Vancouver on the Big Island. Lots of other possibilities. We know that that steel string guitars date back to at least 1865 with Portuguese Azorian sailors from a whaler that either skipped off or were abandoned. And they introduced viola steel-stringed guitars that made a big impact originally in Hilo and then spread throughout the islands. So yes, there was the seed had already been planted, if you will, as far as stringed fretted instruments were concerned. We have two outstanding musicians and scholars with us, os dois Robertos. And in order to set the stage, I was hoping you could give us a little personal background as to, because the conservatory teaches all kinds of music, including classical music, piano, violin, and so on. But your focus has been on the folk music and the folk instruments of Madeira. And I'm just curious how you started, why you became musicians, how you got started in your careers as musicians.
Many people play traditional instruments, and my father and my uncles, all my family play not only chordophones, but also harmonica, accordion, and Portuguese guitar and mandolin, and guitar
Wow.
also. And I have at home all of these instruments, in Christmas, for example, in summer, in the parties, I go with my family or at the house of my grandmother, and we make a party and drinking and eating cookies and playing. And I born in the middle of the music and the cordophones and traditional music and cordophones. So stay inside.
It sounds like pretty much every Hawaiian household that I know of.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Where you just grow up with with the music.
After when I complete 13 or 14, some guy from London come and play guitar, and I saw that. So expected. I want to learn guitar. In this day, they tune guitar, teach me 3 chords or 2 chords, A minor and Mi 7, E7, A minor and E7, and I play all day,
2 chords.
and tune the guitar. I said to my mother, I go with Ze for to tune the guitar because this is not good. I arrived and they told me, let me see what you do. I play A minor and Mi. Oh, how you play? I teach other chords. And after this, I go to Santa Cruz, where I live in the center, and start playing guitar with the teacher, Manuel Vieira. And after I play guitar, when I complete 18 years old, I play guitar, but never let the braguinha and região, because one friend mine in the same class learn braguinha, and I see Manuel Vieira teaching him and teach me guitar. I learn guitar, I practice it at home guitar, and I go home and I saw what Manuel Vieira teach him, and I practice, and when I go to class, I play guitar and play better than the other braguinha. Wow. So when I complete 18 years old, Manuel Vieira invited me to work in the government, in schools, teaching braguinha, região, and viola de rame. In the beginning, also braguinhas in the schools, in como se diz, part-time, or in off, not
full-time, but
not
part-time?
No, full-time for me, a teacher, but for the students, it's not including the school. It's
extracurricular.
Yeah, it's extra. So I began being teacher in 1989, and then don't let the tradition out. Even in conservatory, we never let the tradition out. We teach with the scores, but we teach in front of the student here and see what we do, the ways, the traditional way to teach and to learn.
So, Roberto, we should probably define traditional Madeiran instruments. Viola de rame.
Yeah.
Can you describe what the viola de rame and the região and the braguinha are?
Yes, viola de rame take part of the family of the Portuguese guitars. In all part of Portugal and Madeira and the Açores. For example, in Madeira, it's the unique who continues with the principal name, viola de rame. It's 5 double strings.
Steel strings,
5 double steel strings. For example, take part of the others. In Açores, you have viola da terra and viola da terceira, island terceira. And in Alentejo, viola campaniça. In Coimbra, viola toeira. No, toeira. In Beiras, Portugal, viola beiroa. Braga, viola braguesa. And Amarante, viola amarantina. So many different, similar
variations of the same instrument.
And the other instrument is região, with the 5 string instruments, but particular curiosity is when I learn playing rejão, my rejão at home, it's only 4 strings. Because the 5th string or broken or they take off because it's more easy to make the chords. And the barguinha also, the 4 strings is broken. Only 3 strings, the 3 first strings. I don't know why, or it's because that string when I learn is steel strings in rejão and steel strings in barguinha, not like today we put floor carbon. And I asked to my brother, what is the other string? No need. It's more
I
easy.
like easier.
It's more easy.
Can you get me a 1 string? I think I might be able to handle that one.
Maybe. So maybe it can be a reason why the rejão come to Hawaii or arrive to Hawaii only with 4 strings. And the other is braguinha or machete. But sometimes I heard people saying, play the machete, but the machete isn't machete. When they say play the machete is rejão. For in the not in the urban, but in the countryside, the people call machete to rejão. I don't know why. So
We're going to revisit that.
Machete come from mão. Machete. And these 3 instruments, viola drum, 5 double strings, rejão 5 strings, and machete 4 strings. I play and I have at home, and never, like I said before, my mother and my father never esconder, como se diz?
Forbidden.
Never forbidden, never forbidden to play.
So, Robertos, you've talked to us about a machete and a rajão. I don't know what these instruments are. Can you please educate me on what are they and what makes them that instrument as opposed to something else? Could we start with this little one here? Because this looks like an ukulele to me.
Well, this is the machete. This is inspired in 19th century machete, made by Jardim de Souza, a Madeiran constructor. 4 strings, tuned D, B, G, D. So it's an open G tuning. You have the G chords.
And that was the 19th century tuning.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which is interesting because, Ku, would you mind comparing that to the more quintessential early 20th century ukulele? So this is only, 20 years, 30 years afterwards. And
Well, I think on the ukulele here, it has a little bit of a wider body, but similar sizing. But the tuning is G, C, E, and A.
my dog has fleas.
My dog has fleas. Yeah, and so it's very similar. And it feels like, or just by looking at it, even the fretboard has a little bit of a different design too.
We
Yeah.
have those
Put
side
them
by
together.
side just for educational.
A father and son reunion.
Yeah, look at that.
I mean, very similar in size. Just it's the ukulele just got a little bit bigger. Food here's too ono.
Yeah, for sure. Little taller, perhaps too.
Yeah.
But I think that probably lends itself to the sound as well. This sounds a little higher than the ukulele,
Yeah.
right?
Well, because when
the string length, it's not so different.
not so different.
Yeah, it's not so different. Yeah.
But you raise a good point, Cook, because when the first machetes were being played in Honolulu, they were constantly being compared to like being a mix of a banjo and a little guitar.
yeah.
Because of the high treble sound.
And I do want to point out, since it's been a recurring theme in our discussions, that they have the markers at 3, 5, 7, and 10, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh.
So that's been an ongoing discussion here on the 9 versus 10. So who brought these over?
Well, there were 3 original makers, and you can see 2 of them here. This is Augusto Diaz, my great-great-grandfather. This is Manuel Nunes, who was the most successful and the best known of the three original ukulele makers. And the third was José do Espírito Santo, who was he was the first to identify himself as an ukulele maker. And he's the only one who, throughout his career, built instruments, because Manuel and Augusto, for a variety of reasons, dropped out at various points and went back to building furniture because that was their professional training. They were marceneiros, they were cabinet makers. And so there may be some early maker furniture floating around there somewhere.
Do you know what year Santo first started calling himself an ukulele maker?
1898, I think, is the first newspaper ad that, well, to Hawaiians, to Kanaka Maoli, and you see this reflected in their early advertising, their English advertising. They advertised making guitars of all sizes. And where the name ukulele came from and is not entirely clear, but there's one ad in particular that Santo took out that is in Hawaiian, that talks about in Hawaiian guitars of different sizes, which seems to suggest that the pilali'i might be a reference to the rajau, on the range of the ukulele / machete being the smallest. It's all, there's a little bit of speculation involved in all this, because the contemporary evidence, for example, of what kind of music the Madeirans played when they arrived in Hawaii, we don't really know. There's one eyewitness account from João Fernandes, the first ukulele player in Hawaii, in a 1921 interview. Well, what kind of music did you play? Well, whatever came into my head, which is about the most unsatisfactory answer you could possibly give to a question like that. But we do know, because the Hubertus were at Line Studio yesterday recording. And so maybe you could talk a little bit about what you recorded and why you picked those particular songs.
Could we talk
firstly absolutely. Yeah.
We were talking about the instruments, and this is...
So this is the machete.
This is the machete.
And that's a baby guitar.
Yes, it's like that, because rajau is like an ancient guitar with 5 strings. Because when the guitar begins, it's only first 5 double strings, after less the others, and stay only with the
kept only
individual strings, and add one more and go to 6, like yesterday in Brazilian, for example, 7 strings guitar, first 5, after 6, today 7 and 8. Who knows, next year.
Just getting gratuitous at that point.
But a particularity of this instrument is, like ukulele, the reentrance intonation, like this.
So when you were playing, when you were young, playing a rajau with only 4 strings, you were really, which was G, C, E, A, because the high D string was gone.
Yeah, this string.
You were playing a rajau with what we understand as C tuning for the ukulele. And there is contemporary evidence that shows that GCEA ukulele tuning came from the rajau. That's where that tuning came from. Why it got transferred to I have no idea.
So if I understand correctly, then we took the bottom 4 strings of this larger instrument.
Like an ukulele.
Yeah, interesting.
It's flat.
Got strings.
Got strings. And we stuck it on this sized body, and came up with these 3 instruments, which are from closest to me, a Nunez, a Santo, and a Diaz. So the original 3 makers. combined those two things together and came up with what we know as an ukulele today.
Yeah, and as far as tuning goes, I'm not sure whether it was the three original makers or whether it was their customers who I think and personally I think it's more likely that their customers decided to apply that tuning
because of the familiarity, like yourself.
Maybe a customer went to the shop and could choose the size and the tuning. Oh, I want this size, small size, and this tuning from the region.
Yeah, I mean, because the customers could pick any tuning they wanted. I mean, after they took the instrument out of the shop, they could, they could do whatever they wanted.
Yeah.
So we have these beautiful traditional Madeiran style instruments. Would you please honor us by playing a traditional tune?
Of course, of course.
I would appreciate that.
So we are going to play one of a piece from a manuscript from the 19th century, a manuscript that was written by Manuel Joaquim Monteiro Cabral.
And isn't this
It's
the
written.
kind of these arrangements of the country music? This is the kind of music that would have been played for society dances in
Not in the city, maybe. Not in the city. This might be played mainly in the countryside.
Okay.
Mainly.
So
this is Dança das Floreiras. Floreiras, it's the women that sells the flowers.
flower sellers. Yeah.
Flower sellers.
Oh, that's beautiful. Now, Ku, you play the ukulele. Your group has been recognized with some of the highest honors for your performances. Do you see similarities?
I mean, I do. I mean, Hawaiian music initially is really dependent upon lyrics because it came from hula, right? It came from mele. So the highlight there is going to be the lyrical composition, right? And then the instruments are just going to back that up in a very simplistic way. So with Hawaiian music, probably more similar to what Roberto is playing on the rajau, like the strumming and then the simple techniques, the musical techniques that he's using there is probably more similar to what Hawaiian music would have been like at that time.
Which is appropriate given the GCEA,
yeah.
tuning. So more of a harmony backup.
For sure. But what I kind of noticed on the machete is that it kind of has kiho'alu type things in there, like techniques and how it's played and whatnot. And even to the melody, I think they were playing a song yesterday that there was 3 notes in there that I recognized as the song Keawaiki. And I was like, wow, it kind of sounds similar, you know? But I think the vibe and the feeling you get when you hear it is kind of similar, you know, in its sound and you can tell it's something it stems from something culturally traditional, you know. So that's what I really enjoyed about their playing.
And Sam, we had the honor of being at Line Studio at WMS yesterday. You've been a record recording producer for decades. You've done contemporary, you've done Hawaiian music, now you've done Madeiran music. You know, do you see similarities and differences, and what were some of the challenges? I mean, because you had to mic all of this, and that's not easy.
Oh, I learned so much, Adam. It's like I went back to music school, being taught by the best professors, all the way from Madeira. So, there's similarity. You can hear tonality wise, but like what you just said earlier, but there's a difference. It's close but different. They are relatives. So, very percussive, but yet has that same depth in their tone. And, on our side in the studio is how do we capture that so that people maybe 100 years from now in your archive can experience what I experienced, because it was amazing.
And I think that's one of the things I really appreciated about your methodological approach to this is we had specific microphones to do specific things, and being in the isolation rooms where they could see each other, but each instrument was its own capture without any bleed over, so that we can provide to educators to look for those similarities of, listen to the rajau and how it's supporting the song, as opposed to the machette, which is kind of driving the lyricism of the music and the cadence.
In Madeira, I think what I want to make about the lyrics.
Let me say, Roberto is an improviser. He sings improvising in the moment. So,
which I understand is a very Madeiran tradition.
yes,
Of when you get together for these celebrations, I get to throw something out, and on the spot you've got to make something
singing.
up.
Yeah. So I decided to construct lyrics about the part from Madeira and arriving here in Ōlelo, but thinking in 19th century, you understand, and talking what they think. They left the Madeira and come 3 months in the sea without thinking where they go, because
They didn't
no
want
photos,
to
no
what to expect.
Today we have photos, but in that time they don't have photos. And talk about this, and talk about the expectation of the person from here, from Hawaii, when he received the Madeiran people and the king, Kalakua. Expecting what João Fernandes is playing in Machete, and talk about this, and talk about Princess Kaiulani learn also Machete and play up, and talk about the dádiva,
gift.
the gift Madeiran people give to Hawaii, similar, and other text in Charamba. This first I made in with accompanied with the rhythm of bailinho, the genre bailinho. The most typical in the Madeira. Many people sing.
Very popular.
It's very popular. And the other in charamba, one of the genres is getting down, and we are recording at this moment to get in time to record many different expressions and many different forms to sing with the different musicians to show in the future. And I made the lyrics for to sing in charamba, and these lyrics talk about the constructors, the builders. And I remember one, because I don't record all because it's in the paper. I remember one. The builders contribute more. They come for to plant sugarcane, but they contribute more to plant koa than the sugarcane, because they construct instruments.
Excellent.
And the other how the Hawaiian people call us pokiki, but not offense, but with a kindly and kindly name.
And all this will be translated.
Just a quick question. Is bailinho a form that dates back to the 19th century?
We think so.
Yes.
So it's possible that this is an example of the kind of music that the Madeirense played when they came
the
to
first when the people thought they were with fleas,
the way you
jumping flea.
The way you describe jumping flea and the form they play and dance, I think it's a bailinho.
Let's experience it.
saber o que é o bailinho, quem saber o que é o bailinho, pois é isto que se vê, pois é isto que se vê. Sentadinhos no sofá, aqui no Ōlelo TV, aqui no Ōlelo TV. E o bailinho começa assim, e o bailinho começa assim. Não sabemos para onde vai, não sabemos para onde vai, mas sei que vai ficar guardado, sei que vai ficar guardado nos arquivos do Havaí, nos arquivos do Havaí.
We just improvised other lyrics for now.
That's fabulous, and the way that you played in between verses, I could see, that concept of that, that jumping flea, the really quick strumming and finger plucking. It's just incredible.
Ponteado.
Ponteado.
Yeah. You don't understand what I think?
Can you please give us an idea of what that was?
If you know what is, you want to know what is bailinho. Bailinho is this, what you see.
Yeah.
Here, sitting this sofa in Ōlelo TV.
This what he sang that.
The first one.
Just
And
now.
the second, bailinho é assim, we don't know.
It's like
the
this.
bailinho is like this, we don't know where he goes. But I know he goes to the archives from Hawaii.
Thank you. And that really speaks to how our mission is really driving everything we're doing. Yeah. And that's why I appreciate Sam so much, because that was part of the intent behind Line Studio.
Yeah.
It was an absolutely incredible experience.
It was.
And I think it really speaks to the importance of capturing this now. Because I don't know how frequently we're going to have the opportunity to have two amazing Madeiran musicians who have focused so heavily on musical traditions. I mean, there's this concept of just throw a topic out and you've on the spot have to compose an entire song immediately is such an intriguing idea for somebody who doesn't really play. And Ku, I can imagine you are a musician. I mean, how long does it take you to compose a song?
It kind of depends. I've been in positions where I've never been in a position where I have to improvise something, right? However, sometimes we say that we're just inspired by our own makua, right? That something just hits you in the head and you're immediately able to write something down based upon actual events that's occurring at the time. But then sometimes, especially when you're commissioned to write something, it might take a little time because as we compose music, we want to be able to take the best words and the best things and put them in the best way, almost like a lei, right? So when we go into the forest and we go pick lehua, we pick the palapalai and other ferns, and we as we clean them and prep them and they're on the table, we're still gonna be very choosy as to what goes into that finished product. And so music, at least Hawaiian music anyway, is sort of similar. We want to be able to honor that person or honor the place or the chief or the akua that we're trying to honor. So we're going to choose the best words that go in there. So methodical. So sometimes it can be really quick and sometimes it can be really fast. We hear about ʻŌlelo where, such in the story of Hi'iaka, where she goes to Kauai and she's, needing to chant to this woman who's beating her kapa. I'm sure she did not think, I'm going to compose a song. And she just went with it, right? She took the nicest places and just improvised that. So it's there.
Do you want to recommend something from yesterday?
Play on.
There's no.
One more.
One more. Yeah. It's a dance from the manuscript for also the same manuscript. It's simply called Dance.
There we go.
the flying flea.
There we go.
That's incredible. And again, I'm so appreciative of you spending an entire day with us at Line Studio. We were able to record a dozen songs.
It's our contribution.
The fact that we were able to record this, I mean, Sam, what does it mean to you to be able to lock down this performance and be able to have it?
Literacy, really teaching people, people record history with writing and writing. Our job is through sound. And, to listen to these precious instruments live, I mean, it transformed our studio. I mean, our studio yesterday became a museum. Became a place where culture is being shared and happening. And so, recording is very much science, acoustics, electronics, and so forth. But, with artists like you folks came in playing those instruments, you forget all that. You forget about the electronics, what microphone you use. It really doesn't matter because beautiful art is being shared at that moment.
You both had an opportunity to spend the entire day there. What did you think of the experience of being able to lay down those tracks?
We don't get these opportunities many times to work in a place with all that facilities and with a person like Sam receiving us and treating us like he did. Exceptional. Yeah, thank you so much, Sam.
Oh, thanks for being so kind. Thank you.
And for me, it's a positive experience because I told Sam in the beginning of the recording, I don't like record in studio, but in the end of the day, I told Sam and I told here again, Sam, make me love recording studio. Thank you.
Oh, so honored. Thank you for the kind words.
Well, and to me, as an archivist, I think it was a really fabulously unique experience because now we don't know for certain that this is the music that was played, but it's very indicative of the style of music and the style of play that would have come over with the Madeirans in the late 1870s. And, our kuleana is to preserve it and make it accessible. So now historians will have access to this. Of course, we're going to share the recordings with Zarabanda and the association for you to use. And Ku, as a music instructor at Iolani, you're going to have access to all of these files as well. Do you see utility in that? Or how would you intend to use that?
Absolutely. One of the things I tell my students all the time is that, and I think I blame social media. Social media is great, right? But it connects us so much that sometimes they go so far away from what they should be rooted in, And so, at least in my class with our Hawaiian ensemble, I try to focus on traditional music because all music is going to stem from somewhere, right? And we really need to go back to what we call the piko, the source, and look at, okay, how was because to me, actually, sometimes the traditional musicianship is way more difficult than what we're doing today sometimes, because of the little intricacies of what you need to do and how you need to get tone out of things and whatnot. And I think this is highly valuable for students of today to be able to reconnect back to the foundation of where these types of musics began and how they can then take that knowledge and then build upon that knowledge.
Yeah,
that's
the
super
same.
important.
That's the same in Madeira. What we used to say to our students also, it's we mainly our preoccupation is to give them what they want, listen in their houses, in their school. So something different, and that's our music in Madeira. Madeiran music. So
I think it's absolutely fascinating. Another island nation, literally halfway around the world, yet there's so many similarities. There's more that brings us together than,
we are
than
connected,
separates us.
Inside the earth, we are connected.
Yes.
And there's
By volcanoes.
By volcanoes, yeah.
But
a lava connection.
lava connection.
But the musical stylings are there's so much similarities, maybe not as necessarily in sound, but in intent, in the heart behind it, in the vibrancy of when you play. It's hard to sit still. you want to move, and I think that's one of the universal glues that binds the human race together is that musical underpinnings.
Yeah.
Well, and just as important, Adam, this is a public archive, which means that it is accessible to the public, because so much of history is behind glass sheets where you can't touch it, you can't interact with it, and it's in a private collection, and so you're never going to see it unless you happen to know the collector. But this is a public collection that everyone can use.
Well, and I think Ku is holding a great example of that. So this is a late 19-teens ukulele. We're not quite clear on who the manufacturer was, but it's an absolutely stunning piece with the rope binding. The one-piece figured koa back is incredible. Friction tuners on there. And I kind of feel remiss that you've shared 3 songs with us now. Would you indulge me a bit, and may we ask Ku to play a small piece inspired by your style of music? Maybe you do that for us?
Sure.
Excellent.
Well,
hopefully we're in tune.
Yeah, I think we're still in tune.
Good.
Well, so we'll do this song written by Kalakaua. He went under the pen name Figs. And he Hawaiian music is all about perpetuating history. Like it was the way we could understand what was and bring that into the future. And so this is a good fun song that Kalakaua wrote called Kaoni Akamoku. Mai kaua ke aloha e kairiku I pua o uka anoho ana I ka malu o ke ao I ka olu kuku I lehi lehi anoho ana I ka malu o ke ao I ka olu kuku I lehi lehi ka hauai ta onia ka mokula ka pipi ia ke ana wai mahula ka pau na kanali mata helu na pau mai ka pale na ili vai pau mai ka pale na ili vai ka ua, ka hauai, ka onia, ka mokula, ka pipi ia ke na wai maula, ka paona na nali mata helu na pau mai ka pale na ili vai, pau mai ka pale na ili vai, pau mai ka pale na ili vai. So fair is fair. You played and I asked Ku about the similarities. So now I'm going to ask the two of you. You've seen a very traditional Hawaiian music on an ukulele. Do you see any parallels between what he played and traditional Madeiran?
I haven't understood nothing that you said, but I felt the joy. Yeah, that's. I think it's a big similarity. The joy of singing. Yeah.
So now you know how we feel when Roberto, you compose on the spot in Portuguese. I don't know, but the love, the joy, the happiness, the energy comes across so beautifully.
Yeah, I try to transmit the feelings of when I sing, to reinforce what I say. And for example, when I sing, I close my eyes all time and make expressions of the body and the head to reinforce the message when I'm singing.
Roberto, do you see any similarities in the playing style with the strumming, the picking between these two very, very closely related?
Well, it's not the same rhythm, but we could analyze technically with each one of those rhythms, and I think we will find the beat and the rhythm something that connects the music. I think so.
So does that mean you're willing to come back next year and come spend some time in the archives and maybe do some of this research?
Well,
I want to thank all of you. This has been so much fun, but unfortunately our time together has come to an end. So I want to give each of you, one last opportunity. We've had such an amazing discussion that if there's anything that I missed, anything that you want to say, to add, I welcome your thoughts. Sam?
Well, it's been an honor, Adam. Thank you for inviting me to be, in such amazing company. um, Live Studio, we really our mission, of course, is to serve the Department of Education. That's the obvious. But the other part, really important, critical part of our mission is to really support our culture, support our people, this island. So, directly and indirectly will really benefit education, in this case with preserving history. So thank you for giving us the honor to be part of this incredible project that continue to advance our mission, to preserve culture and educate our people.
Ku, as a kumuhula and an educator and a musician extraordinaire.
Well, mahalo nui for having me. I mean, it's really been a pleasure to witness their music, especially in the studio yesterday. I was floored, mainly because my family comes from Madeira. And it's to witness the type of music that I've never heard Madeiran music until they played. And so I was like, this is just amazing and very special and something that I will treasure forever. And so mahalo for all your contributions and your talent. Yeah, mahalo.
Roberto.
For me, it's an honor to come again and to share our culture, to perform our instruments, and to hear from you. Congratulations all day. It's for us. It's an honor to take part of this ohana, and say mahalo for all team who do this, and Ohana Abreu for to receive us and for to do everything for to be here. Thank you for all. We hope this job, all this work arrive in Madeira also.
Absolutely.
Because some heads in Madeira have to change a little bit to continue fighting for our culture and our tradition. Thank
What
you.
you do is important. We'll do everything we can to help support you.
So I must thank for everything. It was a privilege to be here with you, to listen to you, to be with you. And being here in Hawaii, it's a long dream that we had. So for many years, Hawaii, it was a distant goal. So, and we are, for the second time, we are so privileged, and we'll take home to our families and for our students this so good energy.
Like everyone else, I can't believe I'm sitting here. Mahalo nui. Thank you.
Obrigado.
And as far as the archives is concerned, I just wish that had been available when John and I were writing our book, because it would have been an easier process. We would have hugely enjoyed coming to Honolulu instead of sitting on the beach, sitting in the archives. And it would have made a much better book. I mean, our understanding of the history of the ukulele and being able to appropriately honor our kupuna, our antepassados, it would have expanded that enormously. So thank you for being a visionary.
Well, I appreciate you being part of our advisory council, a co-chair, in fact. So if you don't mind, would you play us out as we sign off?
All right.
Okay.
Let's play a very European tune, a waltz, very Strauss, but written by Cândido Drummond Vasconcelos, the most important machete player in the 19th century in Funchal. So waltz número 18, number 18.
Normally, I used to play guitar, and I will try in regional. Let's go.
We won't know the difference.
Yeah, exactly. That's the right.
Only one string.
I want to thank all of you for joining us today on this edition of Hawaiian Music Archives, a kuleana to our kupuna and our keiki. We're thankful that we had Sam and Ku, the Robertos, and Jim with us today. And until next time, I wish you aloha.